Right here. All right. So listen, a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, there's a lot going on with your team, and I brought it up to you. I talked to you about it. I'm kind of confused on why is why are people hitting the Mets? What is this beanball with the Mets going on in baseball?
Yeah, and it's one of those unexplainable things, though. No one knows why it's the Mets. It's happened again last night. And Pete, this is the second time already this year he got hit in the head. Lindor got hit in the cheek. Two other guys got hit last night. I think we
Yeah.
lead the league in people hit already. But there's a lot of complaints with the balls, Mitch. They're saying like the balls are not, you're not able to get a grip on them this year or something. All the pitchers are saying the same thing. And the people who aren't out there throwing or aren't the ones getting into the plate or into the box to stay in there on 100 miles guy who doesn't have grip on the ball are not the ones who get to make the decision. It's people who don't play baseball. And so there's a big uproar there that they think it's the gripping of the ball right now. And they think they're using different balls than previous past.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a scary pitch last night to Alonso.
Yeah.
Listen, that hit him square on the side of the helmet. I don't know.
I know.
I thought that was a little
both
much.
this year. The opening day and yesterday were both scary. I thought both were bad, and he got right back up. He's in the lineup today.
Yeah, it's troubling. It's definitely troubling.
It is for the sport. I mean, that's one thing you don't need in this sport. And it's just unfortunate that the Mets are the team that seems to be the ones getting the butt of it right now, early on in the season.
So why isn't it the crosstown rivals? I mean, listen, all the whining that you heard from the Yankees, all the stuff you heard about the Yankees and the Astros cheated them out of a World Series and they got cheated this and that. Turns out the Yankees cheated before the Astros did, and it was well known throughout baseball. So while they were griping like politicians. They were committing the acts and then blaming and griping about saying the other side was doing it. It's about as dirty as you get. Listen to the CC Sabathia and all these Yankees complaining about losing out on a World Series when their team was doing it the year before.
And I love the biggest part I hate about that whole complaint about you stole a World Series from us. You still had to go out and win the World Series. It didn't. Yeah. It's not. You know what I'm saying? So that whole gripe was bullshit to begin with. It is a shame that it happened. Obviously, Yankees were cheating first. Red Sox were caught cheating. It was all Cora. It was the Astros. It is what it is. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right with the crosstown. I hate those guys, man. I hate the Yankees.
Yeah, man. It's just like
look at what they did the other day on the field with Cleveland.
No wonder Cashman.
Another reason.
Listen, no wonder Cashman wanted to hide everything. Cashman was suing, and the Yankees were suing to try to keep it quiet. No wonder. It's because they were griping for years, and now, listen, let their players start getting hit. Send the pitchers out there to start drilling the Yankee players that were on that team.
Hey, listen, the Astros didn't even really get beamed as bad as everyone thought, right? We all thought the Astros were going to get beamed over 100 times last season, and it didn't happen.
It happened in spring training. They got hit in spring training, and then it was over. It was like it was no big deal. Yeah, it was no big deal. Nothing big. Hey, listen, man, we got some stuff going on this week with our brackets. It's been interesting, right? So,
the last couple challenges has been unreal, actually.
Yeah, 2 days ago or 3 days ago.
It's what separates sport hitters from other things out there for in this realm, and it's really cool. Let's talk about the other one from the other day. We both went 3-0.
I had the points.
Right.
We nailed our pick. Miraculous Mets. You had the miraculous Mets.
Ooh, what a game. What a game. That game changes a perception on the team this year. There's something special going on with the Mets.
Well, did they do it, or did the Cardinals?
It was just kind of obviously the Cardinals had a lot to do with it. But it's just that magic of never giving up they have this year. And there's something about winning games instead of losing games. So it's early, but I love what I see so far from the Mets. Let's talk about what we saw last night, though. I had to touch on this.
Minnesota?
The Minnesota game that won you the challenge. This is the gift of the century, fellas.
Yeah.
Listen. What are the Tigers doing? Throwing the ball around the diamond like some little leaguers. Basically, Minnesota ran themselves out of the game, but then Detroit said, no, wait. We're going to give you the game. And an absolute putrid throw into left field. 2 runs come in, and they walk it off. It's just something big leaguers should not be doing. Big leaguers should not be doing.
That's the AL Central. By far, worst division in baseball. It's the worst division in baseball by far.
The team everyone crowned they lost 8 in a row. The White Sox.
Yeah.
They're on an
They're
8-game
gonna.
losing streak.
Yeah, they're not, and they're without Eloy Jimenez again,
Oh, they're
right?
without
They're set.
Jimenez. They're without Robert.
Yeah,
They're without Moncada.
yeah.
Yeah, they're struggling right now. I mean, I knew today that honestly we didn't get on here earlier. My pick of the day was actually the White Sox because they have their ace on the
Did you
mound.
see? Yeah.
Losing 8 straight with their ace on the mound against the Royals is an automatic play for me. That
So
and I
listen,
like the over in the
one of the
Cardinals.
things that I don't know if you've seen Rodon's stats, but Rodon is throwing BBs over there in San Francisco right now. He's got, I think I
Last
saw
night he
him
threw another gem, right?
20. I think he's on the mound today. I thought he was on the mound today. 29. He's got 29 strikeouts.
I believe he
and
pitched last night.
17.
If I remember what I saw today, I think I saw another guy pitching for them later today. Could be right.
Maybe. I just saw his stats: 29 Ks in. Yeah,
He's
you're
always
right.
been a great strikeout pitcher, though.
29 Ks in 17 innings. He's throwing. Yeah, maybe it was yesterday. I was checking out his stats, but
and speaking
unreal.
of the Mets, their best start in history of their franchise, except for one season, the last season that won the championship in '86. That was the only team who had a better start than this year. I have the same feel. I stick with what I keep saying, man. That team is going to be playing late in October. Promise you. We will get back to that bet too because I want to tweak a little bit so everyone understands exactly what's going to go on. But I'm fully confident. I'm not losing these beautiful follicles.
Oh man! So man. Listen, the bracket and then the brackets yesterday it did swing. It swung on the Twins game. So I had thought that the Twins had blown that game. The game that I thought was very interesting was the Red Sox Toronto Blue Jays game, right? That to me was the game.
George Springer in the ninth,
which swung everything. But like you said, Kansas City winning big yesterday. That whole I want to get back to that whole division because it's awful.
Yeah.
So looking at the divisions right now, what do you think is the best division in baseball?
The best division in baseball. I still think it's the NL West. You know, Padres, Dodgers, Giants. I think those three are just elite teams. Looking elsewhere, though,
I have one. I'm very surprised at, and I got the National League West right now.
I just said that.
Oh, I thought you said the Central. I'm sorry.
No, the National League West.
Yeah, National League West. So I got the West, and the one thing that I keep going back to, listen, so the Rockies are about to start losing again on the road. They're going to start coming back to reality.
Yeah, they're starting to come back to earth for sure.
But they did start the season against the Dodgers, so there is a little bit of a litmus test there, and they won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers at home.
That's true.
So there is a little bit of a litmus test that okay, maybe this team is going to be better than most people are giving them credit for this year. And I think we're going to have the same splits in a very short period of time. I think you're going to start being able to bet them on home, bet on them at home, and bet against them on the road. Very simply put, I think they're going to have big splits. I really like the AL West. I like what the Mariners are doing right now.
Angels are starting to get it going. If you see now,
Trout's smacking the ball, man.
Trout is back. Let's just say that he's back to his dominant self. He is smacking the ball. I think he leads the league and just contact.
Yeah.
They Otani's balling. They got the young kids balling. Ward, Fletcher, Rendon's coming around. They got a couple arms in that staff that they're not usually having. That they're not used to having. So I think the Angels are going to be there in the end, and I think we should start to look for Trout in the playoffs this year.
Be good.
You're right. The Mariners.
I would like to see what Trout.
The Mariners have a lot of fight. Yeah, me too. It's unfortunate to see the game's best player not in the playoffs all this time is just bad. And I think it ends this year. Oakland's going to be terrible, but I liked what you said about the Mariners. Texas isn't going to be good either. But the Astros will be. So they got 3 good teams, I feel, in that division. Push 85 wins.
So listen, the story keeps dragging on and on and on about Angel Hernandez, and I'm not the point where I'm going to boycott his games. I'm going to start to look for games that he's doing because it does affect what's going on. I mean, you got to start playing unders when he's the umpire. He just is an awful umpire, and the more it's just picking up steam.
It's mind-boggling just how he's kept his job this whole time because I mean, the uproar has not been silent for a long time, and for him to just get trotted out there
Yeah.
means that they have no care for what the people who watch the sport or care about the sport have to say. And that's really messed up in my eyes.
All right, listen, we want to jump. We want to get to the NFL draft and everything that we're doing, but I want to do a quick NBA recap.
Yeah.
Give me something. What do we
I
got
thought
going on in the
Phoenix
NBA?
finally said enough's enough last night. They showed up, they smothered, everyone played well. Chris Paul is doing his. That's the thing about game 4.
Yeah.
Chris Paul in game 4 and Chris Paul in game 5, two different people. I mean, that's the NBA is full of that. One game they show up, one game they don't. I'm sick of it. But they started.
Did he get an 8-second again last night?
No, he was straight dominant last night. Bridges had 30 last night. He played well. Peyton, the backup, all the role players played well. Phoenix, you took the game up to double digits early, never looked back. They got the command now 3-2 with another game at home. God forbid it goes to 7. I think they close it out in 6. Atlanta Hawks, just Trae Young. Trae Young, all that talk, the people in the Garden are happy. He gets bounced. He only had like 8 points last night. He did not show up. Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler, they just or Lowry, next man up, Oladipo. He has a big game. The Miami Heat are so well run. I think that them and the Celtics are going to be who determines who goes out to the finals in the East. And then tonight, I think it's over. The Bucks are going to take care of the Bulls easily. Bulls had plenty of chances in the series after tying it at 1, winning on the road in game 2. They just folded, got ran by 30 in game 3 at home, and they choked away early lead in game 4 and lost by double digits. They're done tonight. Memphis Timberwolves, another blown lead by the Timberwolves. And what I've really noticed is that the Timberwolves play terrible basketball under pressure and late in the game. They just were shooting threes with a 9-point lead, trying to get to the end of the clock. And John Morant, Patrick Beverly. Everyone knows that what he's been doing with his energy and his trash talking. He scores a bucket to go up 9 with 4 minutes left. Does the "you're too little for me" gesture to John Morant. John Morant goes on to go 13-0 run to close the game and with a game-winning buzzer beater layup. 13-0 all John Morant.
Was that dunk last night? Was that dunk I keep seeing last night?
What a dunk. Absolutely. Right before the end of the third quarter, jawbreaker, they were calling it. And it was absolutely ridiculous. His flight, even the game-winning layup, the trajectory to go off under the defender and spin it with your left under pressure. Anthony Edwards did hit a contested 3 to tie it right before that, but John Morant was not letting him lose.
Do you have Morant as a top 5 right now in the NBA?
He won the most improved player. He won the most improved player this year, and I think he is a top 10 player. I don't know about top 5 because he's still ascending. He's still ascending. This is his 3rd year. You know what I'm saying? So he's still ascending.
Do you see him as a lot like Allen Iverson?
Different games. It's hard to say who I think he is. He might be a mix of Allen Iverson, but John Morant's special. I mean, and he's starting to hit the 3, and that's what I thought he lacked. He wasn't a threat from behind the arc, which is a big thing in today's NBA. He's starting to hit it. So John Morant's just about that action, and when the game's on the line, the way he gets to the line, the way he concorks his body, his athleticism, and the way he finishes is top line. So John Morant, taps off to you. You're going to get through this round. Timberwolves. I thought the Timberwolves had more talent as a team. Awful. Yeah.
What about the crap that I'm hearing from Kyrie Irving? He needs to be involved with. I mean,
I'm turned off by it. I'm so turned off by the whole thing. It's almost like they're okay with losing. They just got swept, and you're just sitting there okay with it, from what I'm hearing from both of them.
KD is actually saying stuff like haters are going to hate.
He's busy about clapping back at Barkley. I mean, come on. We all know you only have rings because you went and played with the Warriors. I mean, that's clear as day now. You are not an alpha. You don't have the mental strength to be that guy. You're a great scorer, but every time you were the guy, you failed. And this is an epic fail. One of the worst fails from a duo. And remember, they were just saying they were the best skilled duo to ever live. I mean, come on, bro. Right before this series, they said Durant and Kyrie are the most skilled duo to ever live in the NBA. And LeBron and Wade had to laugh at it, but they also agreed. And you go out and get swept. I'm sorry. It's pathetic. It really is.
First of all, why do people think Kyrie Irving's so good? What is it? Dribbling the ball?
His skill is unbelievable. His dribbling, his shoot. He scored. Bro, the thing is,
he's played less than half.
He's played less than 50% of his games as an NBA player. Less than 50, and he's making $45 million a year. And he plays when he wants. That's the fucked up part about Kyrie.
A lot of people remember a guy named Kenny Anderson had the best handles I've ever seen. Kenny Anderson.
Remember Tim Hardaway?
Tim Hardaway was good. I thought Isaiah was right
Me
up there
growing up,
until
it was white chocolate. Jason Williams from the
Jason
Kings. He was
Williams was
incredible.
really good. I don't think any of them passed. Kenny Anderson, you could put 4 guys around him. He could literally dribble out of it. But Isaiah was really good at it too. Isaiah had really good handles. I think
Steph
have
Curry
Kyrie
and
anywhere close.
Yeah, Kyrie's handles are ridiculous. I get you might not have seen certain things. I've seen enough from him to know his handles are elite. And he could make shots. He could do whatever, man. But it's just the mental part of basketball people do not give enough credit to. You have to have it here. I don't care about your talent. I don't care about your shot. If you're not a dog in your mind when it comes to the playoffs, you are not a top player. And that's what I'm starting to see from KD. I don't want to knock him right off the whole radar, but, bro, you have went back notches to me after the sweep. You are out of the top 10 for me until you prove otherwise.
Okay, here we go.
I'm pumped for the NFL draft, man. I can't wait. And this is and let's not be. I don't think this is a talented draft. Let's be real.
Well, it's talented in a very
There's a lot of players in this draft that are going to be good, but this is not one of the most talented drafts I've seen in a while. So, after the mid-first round, it is Pickens. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. I think it depends on what you need. So, listen, if I'm the Giants, I'm looking my chops right now. There's 2 things if I'm the Giants that I would do.
Chops.
Number 1, I would see if I could sucker the Jets into taking Daniel Jones. I would seriously try to suck the Jets into taking Daniel Jones.
No, they're not taking Daniel Jones off him.
Hold on, swapping the 8th pick for their pick. Because if I'm the Giants,
Jets have Zach Wilson. He's their guy in the future.
And did we see enough to think that?
Yeah, I saw enough. I mean, it was his rookie year. He had shit around him, and he still actually showed me enough.
The Giants, to me, so this draft is interesting, and here's why it's interesting. You have 2 defensive ends that everybody thinks are elite.
Correct.
And I think there's 4 or 5 that are all the exact same thing. I think both defensive tackles from Georgia are off the charts and can be game changers.
I totally agree.
I think Thibodeau
You're talking about
Hutchinson,
Walker and the big boy, right?
Davis and
Walker. Trayvon Walker.
No, it's not. It's not Walker.
Walker's in arguments to go 1. I'm now on more of research. I don't think a DL
Wyatt.
is going 1.
I think Wyatt. 99.
Oh, you like Wyatt too? Okay.
Yeah,
but
Wyatt.
Davis is a physical freak, and whoever gets him is getting a steal.
Listen, half of that defense is going to be great in the NFL. They had historically maybe the best defense.
It's almost like the opposite of LSU when they went to the championship. That all that offense became studs in the league. This Georgia defense is going to all be studs. I agree with you.
So if you're Jacksonville, do you
got to protect?
What are you trying to do if you're Jacksonville? Because
here's the thing: this kid from NC State is a cornerstone lineman that I feel like you might not be able to pass up here. I really do. They might pass him up and go for the defensive lineman. But I think you go and get that guy out of NC State, Owanku, or whatever his name is.
Economo?
Yes, Economo, whatever his name. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. I'm sorry. But he is I watched his tape. I read about him. He is a difference maker, and they really might have to take him out and just to make sure that they protect Lawrence at all costs going forward. So I don't think they're going to take Hutchinson. So I think it's going to be Trayvon Walker or Congo.
The Giants are sitting in a great spot.
I mean, I think someone's going to get 2 really good. Someone's going to fall to the Jets too, because Trayvon Walker might fall to the Jets if he doesn't go 1.
Imagine if you if you're the Giants, you could actually end up with a nose tackle and a rush end in those 2 spots that are game changers. They could get Davis.
Giants need another lineman too, so he might fall to them, and then they go.
There's 3 of them.
They need cornerbacks too. So they actually have a chance to get 2 of the 3 positions of need that they have. The Giants, they're in a perfect position to get 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Of their best, and the thing is, those are 2 of the 3 top players in this draft too. So they got
probably Hamilton is a game changer, probably at safety. Gardner is maybe a lockup corner at cornerback.
And Stingley's the guy. I think he might end up being the first corner taken off the board. He's that talented.
He didn't give up a touchdown, right? He didn't.
No, Gardner didn't give up a touchdown. But Stingley has all the tools, and he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick this year before the injury. Like
Yeah.
overall pick. He was that good. 2019 had one of the best corners seasons in college history. He was that good. But
So
you know how people get with the injuries.
the Jets, listen, the Jets are sitting at 4-10. They're going to get two good pieces.
Yeah.
The Giants are going to get two good
And I
pieces.
think the Jets and Giants, their first picks, the 4th and the 5th, they're going to take the best guy there because there's players there that are going to fall to them. So they're going to have a chance to take the best available who fell and then go get who they want with their next pick in the 9 or 10 and 8 or 10 area. And you have to also watch out for the Falcons because they're definitely going for a receiver.
Listen, if you're
they're 100% going for a receiver.
So if you're okay, so here's the thing. If you're Carolina, so I look at the quarterbacks this year, and if it was any other year, I don't think any of the quarterbacks that are up on that board this year would be in the first round.
I totally agree with you.
I think
you know,
I think it's a stretch. You're stretching.
I do think the top two though, Pickett and Willis, have a very good ability and potential, but I do not think that they would be top guys if in years past drafts.
So there's a quarterback though strong. That's a gunslinger from Nevada. I saw him play a lot, and he is a gunslinger out there.
You're right. And the guy from the Western Kentucky, all he did was break records throwing the ball, Zip or Zappy or whatever his name is. They say you could waste a late pick on him. You got the guy Ritter from Cincinnati. I'm not really big on him, but there's a couple guys you could take chances.
So do we? And here's so one of the things that I saw this year was a running back that I think has to be in the first round, and it's not Hall from Iowa State. It's not the kid from Florida. I think the guy Robinson from Alabama has to be when I saw it, he can catch. He's explosive. He can catch. He can run people over. He reminded me of like watching Emmitt Smith, but just a little quicker. That's what I saw.
That's going to be a steal. Alabama. That's going to be a steal. I do not see him going first round for whatever reason. You know, I think there's only going to be one or maybe two, but I think one guy, Breece Hall, goes late first round. But I think you're right. Like, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean your guy.
So is Kansas City taking a running back?
Buffalo.
They Buffalo Bills. They took the kid from Utah.
Yeah, he's been there 2 years. He's been there 2 years and sitting behind Singletary. He's obviously not doing enough. They need this guy's a 3-down back. That's basically one of their only real weaknesses is having a guy you could depend on. I mean,
if you're talking about that, Buffalo's at the 25. Buffalo's at 25. I'll tell you another team
late
right
first
now.
Round running back.
Listen, do you really think that the Saints are going to take a quarterback at 16 or 19?
I think it's possible, depending on what happens in front of them. But they do have to replace their offensive. They lost a couple good offensive linemen. They do have to replace that line.
Don't they have to replace the receivers too?
Because they got to get a receiver. Yeah. So like that prop that we have, we're offering on Sport Hitters, and it's not like it's a crazy prop. It's a very well known prop, but over under 4.5 receivers first round is very solid because I think there's 4 locks, and then you could make the case for a couple guys to go 5th. So I'm intrigued because you got the Packers late, you got the Saints, they're saying the Vikings might even go and get a receiver at 13 because they said Thielen's not guaranteed past this year, and they want to get a guy to go with Justin Jefferson. I honestly want them to take Stingley, Gardner, or Kyle Hamilton personally. But hey, listen, we go and get Jamison Williams or a guy like that or London. I can't hate the
receiver. There's a receiver out there that dominated games, got doubled and tripled. People are going to overlook him. But Dodson from Penn State.
Okay.
To me,
Penn
is a game
State's been putting out good receivers too in the league.
He's a game changer, and he didn't have. There was nobody else on the field.
Was he a freshman though? Was he a freshman?
No. I think he's a sophomore, junior. He's an elder, and he's a smaller guy.
He's in this draft. He's in this draft.
He's in this draft. Dotson from Penn State. Yeah. Burks from Arkansas.
Yeah, Burks is a guy I'm looking at. I'm interested to see who the Falcons go because they're sitting there at 8, I believe. Yeah. And they are definitely without Ridley, and they lost Russell Gage too, which sneaky pick by the Bucs.
Who's their quarterback coming this year?
Mariota, which it doesn't. That means quarterbacks are on the table too. But yeah, they got Mariota at quarterback, and they lost their receiving core. They got Kyle Pitts to work around. They got to go get a number 1 receiver bad.
They need 5 picks in the first round. Is what they need. They need 5.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
They just need a lot.
There's a lot to cover. We're going to get all into it tomorrow.
Here's the interesting thing. Tampa Bay sitting at 27.
I'm hearing
The
they're trying
reason
to
it's
strengthen the line, the interior
the
line.
center from Iowa will still be available,
Mm.
Lindbaum. He's the number one center in the draft. You know who else is going to be available out there? The fact that he's not the first offensive lineman everybody's talking about has me confused. The dude that's 6'9", 400 pounds from Minnesota. Falele, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
The guy from Minnesota who
That's who
literally
they
is
think
like
the
400
Saints might
pounds.
get. They think the Saints might get that dude.
In the
I've been
first round or
hearing.
second round?
First round.
Well, now there you go. That would listen. They had the number one. They had the largest offensive line in college football 2 years ago.
Yeah, they did.
Overall, they ran over everybody. You couldn't stop them from running
It
the
was
ball 2 years
Minnesota
ago.
and Wisconsin, but Minnesota did have the biggest, largest combined offensive line 2 years ago. And I love the running back that they had.
Yeah,
Let's not forget, he got hurt this last year, but the running back that Minnesota had was special. And I'm not sure he's in this draft or not, but
I'm not seeing his name pop on the board.
Yeah.
I don't have him on my board. I've only got
he's
4 or
either
5. But
going back to school or he's just
there is a sleeper in the draft this year for running back. My boy Rashad White, little Sun Devil. Sun Devil.
Such a homer.
Yeah, Sun Devil. He's gonna go.
When's the last Sun Devil that actually panned out in the league? I'll wait.
Well, it was panned out. I mean,
yeah, panned out. I mean, who was the guy who was hyped up recently too? The receiver. He went to New England, right?
Yeah. He's no good. But the guy, he's no good. He quit.
Maybe
he quit on the
Ito
team.
Benjamin.
He quit on the team.
Ito Benjamin went to. He's a backup running back.
He's a backup in Arizona. There's the receiver that's down in San Francisco. That's
Ayuk.
Ayuk's
probably the best one, honestly, out of all those.
Listen, in the day was a rookie of the year. He was rookie of the year. We had Jake the Snake. Obviously, we had Tillman that did pretty good in the NFL. We had Keith Poole that did good. Like the 90s teams, they put out real deals. They put out the real players.
I know.
We're not looking at real players anymore. At one time, there was a guy that went to the Dolphins, and he one time he was the Pac-12 all-time leading receiver. He went to the Dolphins for like 2 or 3 years, and I don't know what happened to him after that. But listen, watch out for Rashad White. He's going to be a second or third round guy. He'll be a second or third round guy.
He'll be on your sleeper list because listen, this year the draft, once it gets to the mid first round on, you could grab who knows who the sleeper is at that point. So that part of it is intriguing.
I think there's 4 defensive linemen that are all interchangeable. That you're happy if you get any of them. Wyatt Davis, Hutchinson, and Thibodeau. Then the next group isn't even that bad.
You're forgetting about Trayvon Walker though. He's insane. Like, got to add him to that list.
Trayvon Walker's linebacker. Is he a linebacker?
He's a DN, they say, edge rusher.
I got him at linebacker. I got him at linebacker. Him and Dean. I got him and Dean as linebackers from Georgia. Okay. Wait a second. Isn't Walker the guy that got arrested for rape? Who's the guy that got arrested?
I doubt he would be going 1 if he was arrested for rape. Let me see.
Georgia player. Georgia will be arrested.
Nah, Adam Anderson.
Yeah, okay, Anderson. Yeah, I mean, that's when they were on pace to be the number 1 defense I'd ever seen. When they lost him, it changed a little bit. They were still a top 5 defense.
They were still, time. Yeah.
But when they had him, they were definitely, to me, on pace to be the greatest defense I'd ever seen in college football. But listen, this draft is so weird to predict because, again, it's offensive lineman heavy. It's cornerback.
You don't know who needs who when someone goes that changes someone else's pick. Where the trades are, because I know a trade's coming. You know a trade's coming into the top 10, right? You know that. You could feel that. We might look at this as the worst draft for quarterbacks in the history of drafts. We might look back. Seriously. Yeah. There is a couple. Listen, there's a tight end or 2 out there I think that can make a difference if they go to the right teams. So it wouldn't surprise me if KC grabs one of them late in the first round. I think I see this being. We looking back. I think years down the road, we look back at this draft and see 7 to 8 defensive studs that came out of this draft. I think this is the draft we're going to see 4 or 5 years down. Look back and be like, "Oh my God, Stingley, Kyle, Kyle Hamilton."
That Thibodeau guy. If that Thibodeau guy goes to New York,
that's what I'm saying.
This is a they're going to start comparing him to Taylor.
Strength draft. And there's a couple good linemen too. But this isn't an offensive really weapon draft, in my opinion. You know?
No, because I'll be honest. The receivers that I see
They're good, but I don't see. I mean, Jamison Williams is the only one I think could jump off the radar with it. But bro, he just got hurt in the championship game. So yes, he will be back, and I think he'll be back sooner than most people do off the injury. So from what I'm reading, but he does take a hit because of the injury. So I see Olave. How do you say his name? Olave. You got Olave. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Burks. All these guys could be good, but.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
from
but they're
years
like
past, we got spoiled with wide
receivers. The guy that's on a lot of these guys remind me of the guy that's on the Dallas Cowboys that played at Colorado State. He's at Gallup. A lot of the guys are like Gallup. Yeah, they're
it's a good comparison.
Gallup, where they're good.
Good players,
but they're not.
You're replaceable. They're replaceable.
I don't see anybody up there. I don't see anybody up there that I think
everyone's hyping this Garrett Wilson kid, and I get it. He might be great. I'm not saying he's not. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think he was the best receiver at Ohio State from when I was watching college this year. So to me, I don't understand how I wouldn't I wouldn't automatically put Garrett Wilson in my mind. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I watch a lot of college football. So for me to not just be like Garrett Wilson, to me, I don't think that the hype is.
To be honest with you, the one that stuck out the most, the guy that I thought was the biggest playmaker, was Burks in Arkansas. I thought he was the biggest playmaker out of all the receivers.
He made key big plays for that team in the SEC against big time opponents. I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's.
I love Jamison Williams.
You just mentioned something. How are we not, like, when you start talking about offensive line and defensive linemen, cornerbacks? Look at cornerbacks. All right, so you take a cornerback. Are you really going to take a cornerback from Central Michigan? Are you going to take a lineman from Central Michigan over a guy that played over Ohio State offensive lineman or Alabama offensive lineman? You can't. You have to take that into effect, right?
The closest competition to the league is in the Big Ten, SEC. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Even that's it. I mean, even the Big 12 and ACC, they're good, but they're not on the other level. You know?
So listen, where's Green Bay at on this thing? All right, 22.
Will they even have a chance to take one of the top receivers by the time they pick? Who knows?
Well, listen,
they might
what
does
Green Bay
need?
Need?
A lineman. They need linemen.
They need linemen on both sides.
And they need a linebacker. Their linebacking core is soft.
They get Aaron Rodgers can get them every year based off of talent to win the division and then get into the playoffs and maybe win a game. He can't get out of the championship game right now with the rest of the pieces around him. Every year it's the same thing. Their offensive line gets ragdolled when they get there. The defensive line gets ragdolled when they get there. It's the same thing. So when you look at what they need, what they should have done 2 years ago, because they're still paying the price for Jordan Love.
That's the thing.
And they're still paying the price for that. They're still paying the price for the backup running back. And by the way, that running back was a great running back at BC.
And he's a good player. He's not a bad player. It's just he's not the pick. Not the pick.
He wasn't the pick.
Right.
So now you have.
You know what? He would have been the pick if they didn't sign Aaron Jones. But they went right after they picked him and signed Aaron Jones to 4-year max deal. So then that's not the pick. That's what makes it not the pick.
And you gave up the next year's draft to do those stupid things that you did.
And Jordan Love is, like you said before, and how he hasn't even been talked about as guys wanting to trade for him. Oh, he's available. Oh, you're sticking with Aaron Rodgers. Let me get Jordan Love then. He's not even talked about.
Mariota goes to Atlanta. They're not talking about Jordan Love.
They're not talking about Jordan
Love.
New
Orleans needs a quarterback. New Orleans needs a quarterback.
Pittsburgh.
Carolina is sitting here talking about drafting a guy that we don't know anything about, and yet nobody wants Jordan Love.
Washington went and got Wentz. Wentz is clearly failing everywhere, but let's go get Wentz and try to fix him instead of go for this kid who's sitting in Green Bay. Yeah. That rings alarms to me.
Yeah, and think about everything they gave up. Think about everything they gave up.
They traded up for the picks. It's unbelievable.
That stuff. It's crazy.
But then you lose Devontae Adams on top of it. So let's talk. I can't wait. I love it. Viking fan. Vikings are the team to beat in that division right now. We'll see what happens, who we add and stuff going forward. But I love where I'm sitting right now in that division.
So listen. One of the props that we should find out, Aaron Rodgers called his engagement off with that girl. Do you think it was because he didn't move to the West Coast, that he stayed in Green Bay and re-upped? She's like, I'm not fucking moving to Green Bay.
Could be.
I mean,
and he also has weird personality from what I
He is.
see. Don't know if that has anything to do with it, and maybe it's not. Maybe he's not have a weird personality, only from what I see. But
Yeah,
yeah, who wants to go to fucking Wisconsin?
not in the middle of
Green
winter,
Bay
man.
at that. Wisconsin's
Yeah.
not bad. With Green Bay though, a little town in I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
I hope we don't see anybody from Green Bay tomorrow night at Duffy's, but fire and stuff at
Yeah,
us, man.
tomorrow's gonna be off the chain. Come have a
Fire.
drink with us after the show. We're gonna
Hey,
be
listen,
giving away stuff.
we're giving away tickets to the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow night at Duffy's. So if you're in the area, if you're in the
And
area
it's
of Duffy's,
Toronto,
Tampa,
Tampa, guys. It might be the best first round matchup in the playoffs.
and
It's
they're
must
good
watch
tickets,
television. Great
and they're good
tickets.
tickets. They're
Yeah.
lower level, 103, section 103. They're good seats. So we're giving those away. We're having the props contest. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be drinking some beer, watching the props. We're going to start about 6:00. We'll cover some baseball. We'll cover some a little bit of NBA, a little bit of baseball, but
Yes,
it's going to be
sir.
all NFL. It's going to be a lot of NFL
A
tomorrow
lot
night.
of NFL.
What is so with everybody leaning right now? It's a coin flip right now. Jacksonville. Here's what I don't understand. If you have the number one pick, why are you trying to play games with people? What's the difference if they know that you're taking?
I feel
who
like
you're
this
taking?
year is a strong year for the number one to move back. Because if let's say they do want that offensive lineman, you
Yeah.
could move back a couple spots, still get him, and then add more picks to your arsenal. Because I don't see an automatic here at number one. And Jacksonville, let's not.
I don't think there's enough
They're still far
separation.
off. So
I don't think there's enough separation between the picks. In other words, between Hutchinson and Thibodeau, I don't see the separation that would make. If you can get either one of them, you can
Right.
get either one of them.
Right.
And
It's
so if
1
you
and
can
1A.
Yeah. Same thing with Wyatt and Davis. I think they're the same. You can get them. The where there is separation is probably in the safeties.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton's the automatic first safety.
Yeah, there's not a
game
lot
changer.
of separation. The two best choices for almost every position, I don't see a big separation between them. I think the Tampa Bay Bucks, are going to steal Lindbaum as the center out of Iowa. I think they're going to grab him.
Okay.
Think about who his mentor is. His mentor is going to be Tom Brady. He's going to learn from Tom Brady. If he is this good, if he's a top tenor, they need an offensive lineman, right?
And that's your prediction. I really respect it. I could see that in the last couple of years, Tampa Bay has been getting steals from where they're drafting because of how many holes that they don't need. And then the guys who fall for them, it's an easy selection by the time they got to pick. I think Houston Texans take Sauce Gardner or Stingley at 3. That's my prediction. I don't think the corner gets to the 4 at Jets. I think Texans are the first to grab a defensive back. I don't know yet if it's Sauce or Stingley, but Lovie Smith's defense, Sauce Gardner would be perfect for. So they need so much, obviously.
What did they get? What did they get for shipping Deshaun Watson to Cleveland?
Got a bunch of picks. Bunch.
Not this year, though. They have the 13th pick. I didn't see that. I missed that. They actually have the 3 and the 13.
3 and the 13. So I think they go and get that shutdown corner that they very, very strongly need. And then they still could make moves. They got the 13th. They got a bunch of second rounders. Houston's going to start, rebuilding this year. Moving on from Watson finally.
They need a lot of pieces. Let's not forget.
They're
moving on for this. They're moving on from Hopkins. They're moving on from Watson. They're moving on from everybody.
From
JJ Watt.
Yep.
They're moving on from everybody. I mean, they're rebuilding their whole team, right? They're rebuilding their whole team.
So the best player on the board might be Sauce Gardner. I mean, he really might be. I mean, you're going to take risks. Are you going to take risks going elsewhere and not be sure that it's like, I feel like Sauce Gardner and Stingley are can't miss prospects. So secondary, they got torched last year, their secondary. So
a rookie cornerback to build your team around. That's so dangerous, I think. If I was them, this might be the spot that I would trade. I would trade somebody that has
very likely
multiple.
Very likely. Because that 4 and 5 spot, that's a spot a lot of people,
13. Why not offer it, dangle it in front of Seattle at number 9?
They want Thibodeau. Seattle wants Thibodeau, so that would make sense.
Yeah,
I would dangle off the crossbar. I'm watching Champions League. Liverpool facing Villarreal. Winner goes to the final. Man City yesterday played Real Madrid in a classic 4-3. the score was.
Yeah.
Yeah, soccer's been awesome.
Oh, looks like you're one step closer to getting a haircut. Yeah.
Not at all. We still have the best record in baseball. We
And
took 3 of 4 from the Cardinals.
the Royals are coming back on the White Sox right now.
Every time Dylan Cease gets into the 6th inning, he starts to struggle. That's what I've noticed from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's so used to throwing 5. Throw 5, throw 6, you're good. It's the new era of baseball. But all right, man. So listen, you're jumping on a plane tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I'll be there
First
early
thing
in
in
the
the morning.
morning, getting some
Here,
tans, and then we're hitting up the
Duffys.
spot. Yes,
Going to
sir.
Duffys. We got to get out to Orlando on Friday. Check some stuff out in Orlando. But a lot going on, man. So all right,
Fun.
what's your big prop that you're playing in the contest? What's the big prop that you're playing?
I got quarterbacks under 3.5 first round. Lock.
Quarterbacks under 3.5. I got defensive lineman going first. I think that's the easiest play on the board because I don't think
easiest play, but just remember the guy from NC State is very, very possible, or a trade could happen. So we'll see. And I doubt a trade would happen for a DN.
Offensive line. I can't see an offensive lineman going number 1. It never works out. It just doesn't work out if an offensive lineman goes number 1.
I hear you.
Anyway, all right, man. Any play tonight in baseball?
And I had the White Sox today. They already played tonight. I'm not touching anything. I'm touching the Bucks to blow out the Bulls and take care of that series tonight in the NBA.
So I like something that's off the charts for me. I like something that's just way out in right field for me. Never happens. Can't believe I'm doing it. I'm going against everything I believe in. I'm going against a hot team. I'm going against a hot team at home. I like the Cleveland Guardians with Plesac on the mound. I think
against Ohtani?
Yeah, I just think the money's too good to pass up.
And they've only scored 1 run in the series so far, so their bats are due to maybe wake up today.
Yeah, this is such a bad play. It goes against everything I believe in. They're horrible on the road. They're a horrible team. They've lost 5 in a row. Everything I see, stay away from. But the money is just Plesac's really good pitcher. And to get Plesac at plus 190 or plus 200, I think you got to take a stab at it.
I see the reasoning there. And of course, the Angels with Ohtani is going to be a popular play in the sports books. So it's never a bad idea to fade that. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it's just something I don't know. Outside of that, I think the Giants are good. I think the Philadelphia Phillies are going to be good tonight. I think there's some good stuff on the board. But all right, man, let's get ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll see you in person tomorrow morning, and let's get at it. We'll be at Duffy's tomorrow night, everybody. It'll be fun.
Giving away tickets to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Come join us for the NFL pod. Come join us for the NFL Drafts contest at Duffy's tomorrow night in Tampa.
See you there.